Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into a book today that's all about transforming your relationship with money.
You ready to become a badass at making money?
I think we all are. So we're cracking open Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass at Making Money.
Ooh, good choice. Sincero's style is so relatable, it makes talking about money actually fun.
Totally. And she kicks things off by getting real about her own money struggles. I mean, who can forget that squid incident in Naples?
Oh, yeah. The one where she was terrified to spend money on a plate of fried squid makes you realize how our fears can really hold us back.
Definitely. And speaking of fears, Sincero makes this interesting comparison between how society conditions us to think about money and sex.
Both taboo subjects, both things we're told we shouldn't talk about, but both things that, let's face it, we kind of want a lot of.
Uh-huh. So true. That lack of open conversation can lead to all sorts of confusion and shame around money.
And those feelings can really mess with our financial choices. It's like Sincero says, our money mindset is often shaped by these deep-seated beliefs that we might not even be aware of.
Right, like that little prince she talks about, the little voice in our heads that's always whispering doubts and fears.
I think we all have a little prince lurking somewhere in our subconscious. It's that part of us that's afraid of change, afraid of success even.
And it can sabotage our efforts to create financial abundance even when we consciously want it.
Like, imagine you have this dream of opening your own daycare.
Okay, I can say that.
You're so passionate about it, you got all the plans in place.
And then, bam, something happens.
You get sick, you pick fights with potential investors, you self-sabotage in some way.
Because deep down, that little prince is terrified of you stepping outside your comfort zone.
And that fear can manifest in all sorts of sneaky ways.
Sincero calls this false security. That feeling of playing it safe, sticking with the familiar, even if it's not truly serving us.
Because ultimately, the riskiest choice might actually be staying stuck in a life that's not aligned with our true desires.
And Sincero reminds us that it's not just our actions that are shaped by these subconscious beliefs, but also our words.
Oh yeah, the way we talk about money can have a huge impact on our financial reality. Remember that hilarious story about Sincero's mom accidentally using the word twat at a town council meeting?
Oh, that story kills me every time. It's like she thought she was saying twit.
Exactly. And it's the perfect example of how unexamined language can have some pretty unintended consequences.
It makes you think, are we unknowingly reinforcing negative money beliefs by saying things like, I can't afford that, or money is the root of all evil?
Right. It's like we're placing an order with the universe for more lack and struggle.
So what can we do to shift those limiting beliefs and start attracting more abundance?
Well, Sincero talks a lot about the power of visualization.
Ah, yes, picturing yourself living that dream life.
She encourages us to get specific with it. Imagine that trip to Madrid you've always wanted to take.
Okay, yeah, I'm there.
Feel the cobblestones beneath your feet. Taste those delicious tapas.
Hear the Spanish guitar playing in the background.
Exactly. The more vividly you can picture it, the more real it becomes in your energy field.
But even during those visualizations, those pesky negative beliefs can creep up, right?
Oh, absolutely. You might be picturing yourself in that luxurious Madrid hotel and suddenly think, who am I to deserve this?
Exactly. It's like, wait, abundance isn't for people like me. I should just stick to my budget and be grateful for what I have.
That's why Sincero encourages us to actively question and rewrite those limiting beliefs.
Don't just visualize the dream, address the doubts that come up.
It's like, okay, little prince, I hear you, but I'm choosing to believe something different now.
It's about creating a new story about who you are and what you're capable of achieving.
And speaking of achieving things, Sincero is also big on aligning your unique talents and passions with how you create wealth.
Like finding work that feels more like play.
Exactly. Remember that story about the advertising executive who found way more success and fulfillment as an MC?
It's such a great example of how sometimes we need to break free from those conventional paths and embrace what truly lights us up.
And when we align our work with our natural strengths and enjoyment, the money tends to follow.
Because when you're passionate about what you're doing, it doesn't even feel like work, and the abundance flows more effortlessly.
Now, Sincero also brings in this spiritual element to her approach
Yeah.
with the concept of universal intelligence.
What's that all about?
It's kind of like this unseen force that connects us all, this energy that responds to our vibrations.
You know, I think a lot of us already engage with this idea in different ways.
How so?
like knocking on wood for good luck or sitting a little prayer when we're stressed. It's like we're tapping into something bigger than ourselves.
That's a great point. Sincero's just suggesting we get more intentional about it.
So we're already connected to this universal intelligence. We just need to learn how to align our energy with our financial desires.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is through gratitude.
Okay, gratitude. I'm always down for more gratitude.
Sincero uses this analogy of baking cookies for kids.
I love her analogies. Okay, I'm listening.
You're more likely to bake more cookies for the kids who are genuinely grateful, right?
Oh, for sure. The kids who scarf them down without a word. Not so much.
The universe operates in a similar way. When we approach life with gratitude, we raise our frequency, become magnets for abundance.
So it's not just about wanting more, it's about appreciating what we already have.
Exactly. And one of the techniques she recommends is the 29-day giving challenge.
Ooh, what's that?
Give something away every day for 29 days. It can be money, your time, a compliment.
Sounds like a great way to shift your focus from scarcity to abundance.
It's all about strengthening that trust that the universe has got your back.
Okay, so we've got mindset and this universal intelligence piece. But where does action come in?
Action is essential. Sincero distinguishes between worrying, which is focusing on what we don't want,
Oh, yeah, I do a lot of that.
and intentional visualization, which is directing our energy towards what we do want.
So worrying is like placing an order with the universe for more of what we don't want.
That's one way to put it. But when we intentionally visualize our desired outcome,
It's like we're planting those seeds for abundance to grow.
Sincero shares a story about her initial discomfort with online marketing.
I think I remember that one. She thought it was cheesy.
She knew it was necessary for her business, even if it felt awkward at first.
Sometimes you got to push past those personal preferences to reach those bigger goals.
Absolutely. And Sincero's not the only one. Remember Kelly, the print shop owner?
Oh, yeah, she was awesome.
She took a leap of faith, hired her first employee, freaked out at first.
But that act of courage allowed her business to boom.
It freed up her time to focus on growth, and her income skyrocketed.
Taking that risk, even though it felt scary, led to massive rewards.
And then there's the story of the woman who launched an investment company.
Hold on, wasn't she dealing with a ton of personal stuff at the same time?
Oh yeah. Childbirth, jury duty, all while building a business. It shows that determination pays off, even when things get tough.
Okay, so we've got mindset, action.
Hmm.
What about our surroundings? Does our environment play a role in all of this?
Huge role. Sincero dives deep into how our physical and social surroundings can impact our financial outcomes.
Really? In what way?
For starters, people tend to earn an income close to the average of their 5 closest friends.
Wow, seriously. Makes you want to reevaluate your friend group.
She talks about her own experience in Barcelona.
Oh, yeah, I think I read that chapter.
Her drinking habits totally changed there just because of the social scene. It shows how our environment can subtly influence us, you know.
So if we want to change our financial reality, maybe we need to start by changing our environment.
Exactly. Sincero suggests some cool things we can try.
I'm all ears.
Test driving that dream car, walking through your ideal neighborhood, watching documentaries about aspirational lifestyles.
Like creating a vision board, but in real life.
And sometimes it's about making symbolic changes in our physical space.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What do you mean?
Sincero actually lived in a one-car garage at one point.
A garage? Seriously?
It wasn't glamorous, but it put her closer to her dream neighborhood.
Wow, that's dedication.
And eventually, it helped pave the way for greater financial success. Sometimes it's about those small but symbolic steps to align our physical space with our aspirations.
Makes sense. So we've talked about our physical environment, but what about the people we surround ourselves with?
Oh, that's crucial. Sincero compares it to that thing where a bridge collapses because everyone's walking in sync.
Really?
Yeah, a group moving in unison towards a shared goal can have immense power, either positive or negative.
So our social circle can either lift us up or hold us back when it comes to our financial goals?
Exactly. But navigating those relationships with unsupportive friends and family can be tricky.
It's tough when you're excited about these new ideas and the people closest to you are like, that's never gonna work.
Sincero's advice is to lead by example,
Show them what's possible.
while also setting healthy boundaries. It's okay to distance yourself from those who try to rain on your abundance parade.
Prioritize your growth, but still offer love and understanding to those who might not get it yet.
Okay, so we've got environment, mindset, action. Anything else we need to consider?
Well, what about our habits? Do our daily routines and patterns play a role in our financial success?
Sincero actually challenges the traditional view of habits.
Do so.
It's not just those obvious ones like biting your nails or procrastinating. She sees laziness, overwhelm, even success itself as ingrained patterns.
Interesting. So basically, all our habits, good or bad, are shaping our reality.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And Sincero highlights that successful people often cultivate specific habits that support their goals.
Like what? What are some of those success-generating habits?
Things like taking calculated risks, following through on decisions, setting boundaries, practicing generosity, working smart, prioritizing personal growth.
It's a good reminder that achieving abundance isn't just about luck. It's about making conscious choices and developing empowering habits.
And on that note,
Yeah.
we also can't forget about the role of failure. It's inevitable, right?
Oh, yeah. Nobody's journey is a straight line to success. There are always bumps along the way.
Sincero frames failure as a necessary part of growth. She tells this story about a kid singing Jingle Bells at a school concert.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What happened?
He totally forgot the words, but he kept going anyway. He just belted it out with confidence, even though he was probably mortified inside.
What a little champ. It's like, who cares if you mess up as long as you keep going?
Exactly. It's about detaching from the need for external validation and focusing on the journey, not just the outcome.
And Sincero says we should analyze our failures with curiosity, not self-blame. What can we learn from this? How can we adjust our approach?
It's about seeing those so-called failures as stepping stones, not roadblocks. And that mindset is crucial for financial success because the path is rarely smooth sailing.
There are always going to be challenges and setbacks, but it's how we respond to those challenges that determines our ultimate success.
You got it. So before the break, we were talking about the importance of taking action.
Right, putting all this badassery into practice.
And one thing Sincero really emphasizes is taking ownership of our financial situation.
It's easy to blame external factors for our money woes. The economy, student loans, whatever.
Well, we've all been there.
But ultimately, we have the power to choose how we respond to those circumstances.
Exactly. Sincero encourages us to ask empowering questions like, what can I do to improve this?
Instead of why me?
What resources are available?
What steps can I take, even small ones, to move towards my goals?
Those questions shift us from a victim mentality to a creator mentality.
It's about taking responsibility and focusing on solutions rather than dwelling on problems.
And that shift in perspective is crucial for creating lasting change in our financial lives.
So it's not just about taking action, it's about taking ownership of our choices and our mindset around money.
Exactly. And that includes acknowledging the role of belief.
Belief in ourselves. Belief in our ability to create abundance.
All of that. We need to believe it's possible, even if our current reality suggests otherwise.
I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. It's like, how can I believe in abundance when I'm struggling to pay my bills?
I get it. It can be tough. Sincero has some cool strategies, though.
Like what? How can we cultivate that belief, especially if we've had a long history of financial struggle?
One thing she suggests is focusing on evidence of abundance in our lives, no matter how small.
So instead of dwelling on what we lack, we shift our attention to what we already have.
Exactly. It could be a delicious meal, a sunny day, a good laugh with a friend.
Those little moments of joy and appreciation.
All those things are expressions of abundance. Recognizing them cultivates gratitude, opens us to receive more.
It's like we're training our minds to spot the abundance that's already present, which then attracts more of it.
Precisely. Another thing Sincero suggests is surrounding yourself with people who believe in you and your potential.
Oh, that's huge. Our social circle can have such a big impact on our beliefs and our actions.
Negativity and doubt are contagious, just as much as faith and optimism.
It's like that saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
So true. Choose your company wisely.
Yeah.
If you're surrounded by naysayers and doubters, it's going to be way harder to believe in yourself.
Well, if you're hanging out with people who are positive, supportive, and achieving their goals,
That energy rubs off.
so we need to be mindful of who we allow into our inner circle.
And don't forget about the most important relationship of all, the one you have with yourself.
Oh, yeah, self-talk. We need to be our own biggest cheerleaders, especially when it comes to our financial dreams.
Sincero talks about the power of affirmations. Even when you're feeling discouraged, it's crucial to speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement.
It's like, hey, self, I know you're capable of amazing things. Keep going. You've got this.
Exactly. You got to believe in yourself, even when no one else does. That belief fuels your actions, propels you toward your goals.
So we've talked about the importance of taking ownership, cultivating belief, surrounding ourselves with the right people, and speaking to ourselves kindly. What else do we need to keep in mind as we're on this journey to financial abundance?
I want to circle back to one of the most intriguing concepts in the book, money as energy.
Oh, yes. Let's dive back into that. I think this is where things get really juicy. Sincero suggests that money isn't just paper and coins, it's a form of energy that responds to our thoughts and feelings.
Right. It's like money has a vibe, and our vibe can either attract or repel it.
So if we're constantly stressed and anxious about money, we're actually pushing it away.
Think of it like this. You're putting up a big keep out sign for abundance.
Oh no, not the keep out sign.
But the good news is we can shift our energy to attract more of what we want when we cultivate feelings of gratitude, abundance, and worthiness.
The money starts flowing our way. It's about aligning our energy with the frequency of wealth.
You got it. But the question is, how do we actually make that shift? It sounds kind of mystical.
Right. How do you go from feeling stressed about money to radiating abundance vibes?
Well, Sincero gives a lot of practical tips, but one of the simplest yet most powerful is treating money with respect.
Okay, treat money with respect. I like that. What does that look like in everyday life?
It means appreciating the money you have, no matter how much or how little.
So no more complaining about bills or saying things like, I'm broke.
Exactly. Those kinds of statements just perpetuate a cycle of lack. It's about consciously choosing thoughts and words that align with abundance.
So instead of saying, I can't afford that, maybe we could say something like, I'm choosing to save my money for something else right now.
That's a great example. It's about being mindful of our language and focusing on what we want to create rather than what we lack.
I like that. It's like having a more respectful and loving relationship with money.
Exactly. And that positive energy can shift your financial reality.
And speaking of shifting our reality, remember how much Sincero talks about visualization?
Oh yeah, visualizations are incredibly powerful, especially for attracting wealth. When you vividly imagine yourself having the money you desire, it sends a powerful message to the universe.
It's like we're placing a cosmic order.
One financial abundance, please. Extra gratitude on the side.
Uh-huh, exactly. So I can picture myself getting a big promotion with a raise, winning the lottery, even finding a $20 bill on the sidewalk.
Yes. Make those visualizations as real and juicy as possible. Engage all your senses. Feel the excitement and gratitude.
It's not just about seeing the money, it's about feeling the emotions associated with having it.
The more you can embody that feeling of abundance, the faster it will manifest in your reality.
I love it. It's like we're creating a blueprint for our financial future with our thoughts and our energy.
And the best part is, visualization is a mental workout you can do anywhere, anytime.
I'm definitely going to start incorporating more money visualizations into my daily routine.
Yes, the more you practice, the more powerful you become at manifesting abundance.
Okay, so we've covered so much ground in this deep dive. We've talked about shifting our mindset, taking ownership, the power of belief, the importance of our environment, and even treating money as energy and using visualizations to manifest our desires. It's a lot to take in.
It is. But I think it's important to remember that creating lasting wealth is a journey, not a destination.
It's not like you reach a certain number in your bank account and then boom, you're done.
Right. It's an ongoing process with ups and downs, challenges and breakthroughs.
It's about cultivating a healthy and abundant relationship with money that continues to evolve.
Exactly. And that means there will be times when you feel discouraged, frustrated, or even tempted to give up.
Oh, absolutely. It's not always sunshine and rainbows on the path to financial abundance. So how do we stay motivated and committed to our goals, especially when things get tough?
Sincero has some great tips. One that really stands out is regularly reconnecting with your why.
Our why being the deeper reasons we're pursuing financial abundance in the first place.
Exactly. Why is this important to you? What are your dreams and aspirations?
What impact do you want to make with this money?
Getting clear on your why gives you that fuel, that purpose to keep going even when you feel like throwing in the towel.
It's like, okay, this is hard, but I'm doing this for a reason. I'm doing this for my dream life, for my family, for my future self.
Exactly. And it's not just about focusing on the big picture why, it's also about celebrating the small wins along the way.
Oh, yes. Celebrate those victories, no matter how big or small.
Every time you hit a milestone, even a seemingly insignificant one, take the time to acknowledge it and give yourself props.
So if I finally manage to stick to my budget for a whole month, that's a reason to celebrate.
Absolutely. Treat yourself to something nice, do something you enjoy. Doesn't have to be extravagant, but it should feel good.
Because celebrating our wins reinforces that feeling of success, which in turn attracts more abundance into our life.
Right. It's about building that positive momentum and reminding yourself that you're making progress.
I love that. And speaking of positive reinforcement, Sincero also talks about surrounding ourselves with inspiration.
Oh, yeah, that's key. Feed your mind with positive and empowering messages about money.
So read books, listen to podcasts, follow inspiring people on social media.
Exactly. Attend workshops or conferences. Connect with people who are living the kind of financially abundant life you aspire to create.
It's about creating an environment that supports your growth and reminds you that financial abundance is possible for anyone.
You got it. But here's the thing. We can't just think our way to wealth.
Right.
Like,
We can't just sit around visualizing money falling from the sky.
Sincero is a big proponent of action.
It's about putting all this knowledge and mindset work into practice. So what are some specific actions we can take to start creating more abundance in our lives?
Sincero offers tons of ideas in the book, but I think some of the most important ones are asking for what you're worth, exploring new income streams, investing wisely, and managing debt effectively.
Okay, let's break those down. First up, asking for what we're worth. This can be a big hurdle, especially for women. We often undervalue ourselves and our contributions.
Sincero encourages us to challenge those limiting beliefs and step into our power. Know your worth, and don't be afraid to ask for the salary, rates, or prices that align with your value.
It's like if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Exactly. And even if you do get a no, don't take it personally. It might just be a matter of timing or finding the right fit. Keep putting yourself out there.
Persistence is key. So keep asking, keep refining your approach, and eventually you'll get that yes.
That's the spirit. And when you do get that yes, take a moment to celebrate and acknowledge your courage.
Now, what about exploring new income streams? I love how Sincero encourages us to get creative here.
Right. There are so many ways to generate income these days beyond a traditional 9-to-5 job.
We could start a side hustle, invest in real estate, create an online course, sell handmade goods on Etsy. The possibilities are endless.
Exactly. The key is to find something that aligns with your passions and skills. What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? What problems can you solve for others?
And thanks to the internet, it's easier than ever before to reach a global audience and monetize your unique talents.
Absolutely. You can literally build a business from your laptop. The opportunities are truly limitless.
Okay, so we've talked about asking for what we're worth and exploring new income streams. Now, what about investing wisely? This can feel intimidating, especially for those who are new to the game.
I hear you. Investing can seem complicated, but Sincero emphasizes the importance of starting small and learning the basics.
There are tons of resources available, from books and online courses to financial advisors who can guide you through the process.
And there are so many apps and websites now that make investing more accessible than ever before.
You don't need to be a Wall Street expert to get started.
Exactly. The most important thing is to educate yourself and find resources that you understand and trust.
Okay, so we've covered asking for what we're worth, exploring new income streams, and investing wisely. Now, what about managing debt effectively? This is a big one for a lot of people. It can feel overwhelming and even hopeless sometimes.
You're right. Debt can be a heavy burden, but Sincero doesn't shy away from it. She offers practical advice for getting a handle on your debt and creating a plan to pay it off.
Like what? What are some of her top tips?
Well, she suggests creating a budget that prioritizes debt repayment. It's about being intentional with your spending and making a conscious decision to put extra money towards those debts.
So track your spending, see where your money's going, and identify areas where you can cut back.
Exactly. She also recommends negotiating with creditors for lower interest rates. Sometimes all it takes is a phone call.
It's amazing what you can achieve when you simply ask.
Right. And Sincero also suggests exploring debt consolidation options. This can help to simplify your repayments and potentially lower your interest rates.
There are also resources like credit counseling agencies that can provide guidance and support.
Exactly. The key is to take action and create a plan that works for you. There's so many options available.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Asking for what we're worth, exploring new income streams, investing wisely, and managing debt effectively. Those are all super practical steps we can take to start creating more financial abundance in our lives.
But even with all the right strategies in place, there's one sneaky little saboteur that can derail our efforts.
Oh no, what is it? Don't tell me it's the little prince again.
He might be lurking in the background, but the real culprit here is fear.
Ah, yes, fear. It's that unwelcome guest that always seems to show up at the worst possible moment.
Fear can be paralyzing, right? It can keep us from taking risks, asking for what we deserve, and pursuing our dreams.
Sincero's very real about the fact that fear is a natural part of the journey.
Oh yeah, we all experience it. But she encourages us to see fear as a signal, not a stop sign.
Okay, I like that. What does that mean?
It means that when we feel fear, it's often a sign that we're on the right track, stepping outside our comfort zone, stretching ourselves to grow.
So instead of letting fear stop us in our tracks, we can actually use it as fuel to propel us forward.
Exactly. Fear can be a powerful motivator when we learn to work with it instead of against it.
So how do we do that? How do we reframe our relationship with fear so that it becomes an ally rather than an enemy?
One of the strategies Sincero recommends is reframing our perspective. Instead of focusing on what we might lose, we can focus on what we stand to gain.
So instead of saying, what if I fail? We can ask ourselves, what if I succeed?
Exactly. Shifting our focus to those positive possibilities can help to diminish the fear.
It's like, okay, yeah, it's scary, but the potential rewards are worth the risk.
Right. And Sincero also talks about the importance of being willing to fail.
Because failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of the process.
You got it. If we're not willing to fail, we're not really willing to grow.
So it's about embracing those so-called failures as learning opportunities.
Each failure brings us one step closer to success.
Okay, so to recap, we can overcome fear by
Reframing our perspective, remembering that fear is a natural part of growth, being willing to fail, taking action despite the fear,
breaking down our goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
and surrounding ourselves with supportive people who cheer us on.
Those are all great strategies. Remember, fear is a natural human emotion, but it doesn't have to control you.
You have the power to choose courage over fear every single time.
This deep dive is flying by. I'm so inspired by all of this.
Me too. There's just something about Sincero's writing that gets you fired up and ready to take on the world.
Before we wrap up this part of our conversation, I'd love for you to share any final thoughts or key takeaways that our listener can carry with them as they continue on their journey to financial abundance.
You know, one thing that Sincero keeps coming back to is that financial abundance is about so much more than just money. It's about creating a life of purpose, meaning, and fulfillment.
It's about aligning your financial goals with your deepest values and aspirations. It's about using money as a tool to create a life you truly love.
Exactly. Sincero wants us to define what wealth truly means to us on a personal level. It's not just about having a lot of money in the bank.
It might be having the freedom to travel the world, pursue a creative passion, spend more time with loved ones, make a difference in your community.
It's about creating a life that feels rich and meaningful on your own terms.
And speaking of richness, I think it's important to acknowledge the role of giving back. Sincero is a big believer in philanthropy, using our resources to make a positive impact in the world.
Yes, true wealth includes a sense of generosity and abundance. It's not just about what we can acquire for ourselves, but also about how we can contribute to the well-being of others.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected and that our actions can have a ripple effect beyond ourselves.
Sinceri encourages us to find ways to give back that feel good and aligned with our values.
It could be donating to our favorite charities, volunteering our time, mentoring someone, or even just performing random acts of kindness.
Exactly. Those acts of giving don't have to be grand gestures. Even small contributions can make a difference.
And what I love about Sincero's perspective on giving is that it's not about depleting our resources. It's about expanding our capacity for abundance.
It's like that saying, the more you give, the more you receive.
When we give generously, it not only benefits the recipient, but also creates a positive feedback loop in our own lives.
Exactly. The more we focus on creating a positive impact in the world, the more abundance we attract.
This deep dive has been so insightful and inspiring. I'm feeling incredibly motivated to take all this knowledge and put it into practice in my own life.
Me too. I hope our listener is feeling that spark of possibility as well.
I have a feeling they are. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into You Are a Badass at Making Money.
I feel like we could talk about this book for days.
So much good stuff. But in this last part, I want to zero in on one of Sincero's core messages.
Okay, which one's that?
That financial abundance is about so much more than just, the numbers in your bank account.
It's about creating a life you love.
Exactly. A life that feels truly rich and meaningful on your own terms.
I love how Sincero challenges us to define what wealth actually means to us.
Because it's different for everyone.
Right. Totally. For some people, it might be having the freedom to travel the world
For others, it might be having more time to spend with family.
or pursuing a creative passion or making a difference in your community
It's about aligning your financial goals with your deepest values.
and using money as a tool to design a life that feels truly fulfilling.
That's such a powerful shift in perspective. It's not just about having money, it's about what that money allows you to do and experience.
And speaking of experiences, one of the things Sincero really emphasizes is the importance of giving back.
Oh, yeah, she's big on that. Using our resources to make a difference in the world.
It's about recognizing that true abundance includes a sense of generosity.
It's not just about what we can acquire for ourselves, it's also about how we can contribute to something bigger.
Sincero encourages us to find ways to give back that feel meaningful and aligned with our values.
It could be donating to our favorite charities,
Volunteering our time,
mentoring someone.
even just performing random acts of kindness.
I think a lot of people assume that philanthropy is just for, like, super rich people.
But Sincero's like, nope, anyone can be a philanthropist.
It's about the heart, not the size of your wallet.
And you know what's really interesting? Sincero suggests that giving back actually expands our own capacity for abundance.
Makes sense. The more we focus on giving and creating a positive impact, the more abundance we attract into our own lives.
It's like that saying, the more you give, the more you receive.
It's not about depleting our resources, it's about creating a flow.
Exactly. And the more we focus on creating a positive impact, the more abundance flows back to us.
Okay, so as we wrap up this incredible deep dive, what are some final nuggets of wisdom you want to leave our listeners with?
I think the biggest takeaway from "You Are a Badass at Making Money" is this. You have the power to create the financial reality you desire.
I love that. So empowering.
It all starts with a shift in mindset. When you truly believe in yourself and you're willing to take action and do the work,
Amazing things can happen.
it's about combining that inner work. The mindset shifts, the visualizations, the belief in yourself with the outer work.
The asking, the doing, the taking those concrete steps to increase your income and build wealth.
Sincero offers a roadmap, but ultimately it's up to each individual to create their unique path.
So to our listeners, I say this. Embrace the journey. Don't be afraid to experiment.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
And never, ever stop believing in your ability to create a life you love.
This has been such a fun deep dive.
I've learned so much, and I hope our listeners have too.
Remember, you are a badass.
And you are capable of creating anything you set your mind to.
Until next time.
Keep those badass dreams alive.
Did you get any of that?